This is our diversity wall, and I wanted to draw your attention particularly to our extinction cabinet, which comprises rows of tombstones of plants that have gone extinct.
That's really, really sad.
We have a vacant row at the back to add more species that may become extinct.
Well, hopefully if PlantBank really works well, we can avoid filling that row.
Fingers crossed.
Australia is home to more than 1 million species of plants and animals, yet has one of the highest rates of species extinction in the world. Climate change is making it even harder to protect our natural ecosystems and unique wildlife. So I'm at the Botanic Gardens at Mount Annan today to see what is being done to preserve our diverse plant species in the face of a warming climate.
One of the things we've been noticing really for the last couple of decades with climate change is that it's affecting species' life cycles. Tell us why that's so important, especially for endangered species.
So we've seen plants that we've gone out to try and make collections of to store here at PlantBank, and when we would expect them to be producing flowers or fruit, there's just nothing there, or there's very limited amount of seed available.
And you can imagine what the flow-on effects of that are in an ecosystem. So it's affecting pollinators and all sorts of other animals that are using the plants as resources.
Absolutely. Every plant has an important part in the ecosystem and contributes to the functionality and the resilience of that species. So it's important that they all persist in the landscape for as long as possible.
So how many collections and species have you got?
We have around 12,500 seed collections from right across Australia, including 48% of 6,000 seed-bearing species in New South Wales and around 72% of states threatened flora as well. Come on through, Lesley.
Thank you.
So Lesley, this is one of our most notable species, the Wai Pine, which only occurs in a single hidden secret canyon in the Blue Mountains. This species was believed to be extinct until it was recently discovered by a ranger abseiling through a canyon.
And it's exactly that sort of species that's so restricted and so rare that we're really most worried about from climate change.
Absolutely, but there are hundreds of other species that are in a very similar position that need just as much attention.
And those black summer bushfires must have been particularly concerning for people keeping an eye on this species.
Staff, RFS, national parks were out there actively protecting these species, and they were able to save nearly all the species with tremendous success.
As climate change continues, the conditions that led to the black summer bushfires could keep reoccurring and reoccurring.
And it's really important that we have genetic representativeness of these species like the Wai Pine secured here at PlantBank. So Lesley, this is our drying room where we bring our seed collections from the field and dry them down in the first step of the storage process. Conditions are set to 15 degrees Celsius and 15% relative humidity. So that maximises their chance of maintaining long-term viability in storage. So we don't need to keep going out and collecting those seeds.
So now I really feel like I'm in a fridge because it's about 4 degrees, isn't it?
You're absolutely correct. We're in our 4-degree cool storage facility, and we have thousands of seed collections here in storage. Approximately 6,000 here and another 6,000 next door at -20 where it's even colder. And our seed collections, once they're dried down, they're vacuum sealed and placed into these foil packets. And this will ensure that some of our species may stay viable for hundreds of years. Now, while most seeds can tolerate the drying and the freezing, some species, like our rainforest species, have what we call recalcitrant seeds. So these need to be preserved in either tissue culture or even in cryostorage under liquid nitrogen. We are ensuring that we're securing complete representation of the genetic diversity of our species. So we include species that have resilience and adaptability to threats like climate change, diseases like myrtle rust, and that we are able to activate those, retrieve that genetic diversity, grow on those plants and build resilience into our threatened plants and communities.
And I guess that's particularly important because the climate is changing a lot faster than most species are capable of moving across the landscape to adapt. So having that extra insurance where you can put them back into places that are more climatically suitable in the future is incredibly important. Thanks so much, Nathan, for showing me around. It's been absolutely fascinating.
My pleasure. Hope to see you again soon.
Australia needs to cut climate pollution to protect our unique species and ecosystems from climate impacts.